before this video starts, I just have to explain a few things. First of all, why I didn't upload on Friday and Monday. Friday because, as you would probably guess, I was celebrating my birthday with my friends. And Monday, I did make a video, but I accidentally deleted the files, and so that's why I didn't upload on Monday and Friday. Okay, so another thing about the change to my schedule, my temporary upload schedule change, I had to make a change again. So what I was going to do last time is upload 2 lore videos and 1 commentary video like this one for this week, because the following week I wouldn't be able to upload any lore videos, any gameplay videos. I'd only be able to do commentary videos like this one. So I gave you guys the decision to either 2 lore videos or 2 Minecraft videos, and you guys preferred 2 lore videos. So that was the plan. However, basically, I had to switch the 2, so it's this week that's going to be only commentary videos, minus Monday, and next week will be 2 lore videos and 1 commentary video. Okay, so now we can get into today's video. Hi guys, welcome to LoreLord's University of Gaming, or LUG for short. And today for our lesson, we're going to be talking about solely single player video games and solely multiplayer video games, and how this one is better, and how if you think anything else you're wrong and you're expelled from school. So yeah, this video is basically why I think single player video games are generally better than multi video games. I'm not saying a single player video game is by default better than a multiplayer video game, but I'm saying why I think that on average single player games just tend to be that bit better. So here are the 5 reasons why I think single player video games tend to be better than multiplayer video games. But just to note, this is only for games that are solely single player and solely multiplayer. Like for example, in Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm only including the story, like the actual Red Dead Redemption 2 game, not the Red Dead Online game, which just so happens to come with Red Dead Redemption 2. So I am including Red Dead Redemption 2, but I'm not, for example, including Minecraft, because that can be single player and multiplayer. It just depends on how many people tend to be playing the game at the time. So this is just comparing solely single player video games with solely multiplayer video games. And so yeah, here are the 5 reasons why I think single player video games tend to be better. Reason 1, and probably the most expected reason, you're able to do your own thing at your own pace without having to compete with others. In single player games, in mostly RPGs and FPSs, and by FPSs I mean the solo campaign, not the multiplayer option. And it annoys me that Black Ops 4 didn't have a story campaign. Like, they did have those, like, missions for those individual, like, characters. However, that wasn't a full story campaign, and that annoyed me, and that's why I hated Black Ops 4. But anyway, Modern Warfare will be good. But yeah, anyway, in single-player RPGs and single-player FPSs, you can play at your own difficulty, you can play at your own pace. In single-player RPGs, you can just do your own thing and explore the world. This isn't so much in FPSs, you can't really do your own thing, you still have an objective that you have to complete. However, you can still do it at your own pace and to your enjoyment. However, you don't really get this with MMORPGs and multiplayer FPSs. In MMORPGs, you can't really do your own thing. A lot of the things, you don't get to choose how easy or difficult the game is. And they tend to be quite grinds. They tend to be very grindy, that you have to either pay microtransactions to make your character good, or just keep on playing to get good and to compete with veteran players. And also because in MMORPGs, some places are just so high leveled and just so difficult to like defeat the bosses and enemies there that in order to even go there you'd have to grind and until you can compete with the other players. And in multiplayer FPSs, it's somewhat the same thing. You don't get to choose how easy or difficult the game is. In FPSs, you don't get to play at your own pace or difficulty. You have, in order to like enjoy the game, or at least to make it somewhat enjoyable, you have to have the same amount of skill as the other players. It's like writing an essay in school. The teacher makes a set time for everyone to complete it. That's great if you're a really quick writer and thinker. It's alright if you're an average, but it's not so good if you're a really slow writer. It's the same with multiplayer FPSs. They're great if you're a veteran player and know what you're doing and are just great at the game. It's alright if you're an average player. Like, you're not great, but you can compete with most of the other players. But it's not so good for those who have just bought the game, compared to everyone that has owned the game for months, if not years. So the first reason is that you can play at your own pace and your own difficulty, and can pretty much do your own thing. Reason 2, loot boxes. Do I even need to explain this one? Reason 2.5, there's hardly any leg room between this desk and this chair, and I can't move my chair back because this will move my mic back, which will move the phone back, which means I have like hardly any leg room here. And yes, this is multiplayer game's fault. Reason 3, you don't have to deal with toxic community Fortnite kids. So yeah, if you don't like being around people who name call you or send you death threats for absolutely no reason, then in single player video games you don't have to deal with that because the only people you talk to are NPCs. Unless it's Nazim. God, I hate Nazim. But yeah, I mean, personally, I don't mind toxic people. I have a YouTube channel, after all. In order to have a YouTube channel, you have to be alright with toxic people, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm perfectly fine. In fact, I'm on Xbox Live, and I have been for a few years now, so I'm perfectly fine with being reminded that I will be a virgin for the rest of my life. Not my problem. But yeah, if you do have a problem with that, then you don't have to deal with it. You can just go into your single player video game and not worry about what the rest of the world thinks. The fourth reason kind of goes back to the first reason, and I'll explain how, and that's that single player video games tend to have more interesting and engaging stories. In single player video games, like how I said before that you can play the game at your own pace, because of this, you can get a better glimpse of what the backstory and all the lore is. You can learn more about the backstories of characters because you can listen to them better because, again, you're playing at your own pace. You can do more research into the game, both outside the game, like on Fandom Wikia, as well as looking into it while playing the game. It's all good stuff like that. In fact, it's backstory and lore that are the reason that this YouTube channel exists. That's what my channel is all about, hence the name LoreLord. In multiplayer video games, however, you don't really get that much of a chance to really have a look into the backstory, at least not as much as you do in single player video games. And it's because of this, multiplayer video games don't really tend to have that in-depth of a story like single player video games do. And even when they do, you don't really get the chance to have a good look in them because, again, you're too busy grinding in the game. I remember someone asked me to do a lore video about a mine in Fallout 76, which I am going to get around to. However, I wasn't able to do it when I promised because, in fact, that was ages ago now. A few months ago, in fact. Yeah, but the reason I couldn't do it in time is because in Fallout 76, although I do like Fallout 76, I'm not very good at it, and I can barely survive in the game, let alone survive trying to get to that mine, so that's why I haven't been able to make that video yet. So if you're watching this, the person who suggested that, I'm sorry. And the last, but certainly not the least, of the 5 reasons, the gameplay and objectives tend to be a lot more unique and diverse. You see, in single-player video games, in any genre you can think of, the objectives are always different from each other in some way, as are the reasons for doing it in the story. Unless in RPGs where there are Radiant quests. However, in single RPGs, Radiant quests are very rare. Well, not rare, however, the vast majority of quests in single RPGs are not Radiant quests, they are story. They are hand-constructed quests. However, that is not the case for MMORPGs, although there are a lot of quests that are relating to the story or another story. The majority of quests in MMORPGs are just retrieve this, kill this guy, claim this spot, and come back for reward. And that's what a Radiant quest is. They do happen sometimes in single-player RPGs, however they are a lot more common in MMORPGs. And the same can be said for FPS. Well, not exactly the same, because they're 2 different genres, but in single-player RPGs, the missions are very different, as they would be in an action movie, for example. However, that's not the case for team deathmatch in multiplayer. There's no reasoning for what the battle is going on. There's no main objective. It's just kill as many people as you can. Of course, there are different game modes where you do different stuff, but still not nearly as much as diversity and uniqueness in the single-player campaign. And so those are my reasons why single-player video games tend to be better than multiplayer video games. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think single-player video games are better? Do you think multiplayer video games are better? Do you think they're equal or tied? Or do you think that they can't be compared because they are very different from each other in a lot of circumstances? I'd be very interested to hear what you guys have to say. So sorry for a late upload, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya!